Paisan? God, it's good to see you. Paisan, I like your notes. Let's make sure we're taking care of us.
What's that? All right.
You gotta put this on. Yep. Couldn't hear a word you're talking about there.
Hey, everybody, what's going on?
Hey, it's Dan Marino.
Hell yeah. Dan the man.
Dan, okay, so you are here with NAMI, the National Alliance of Mental Illness. Tell me how you got involved and what is the goal here with NAMI?
So the goal is, well, first of all, I got involved a couple of years ago. I got to know Dan Gillison, the CEO, and we talked about doing some of this stuff then. And also Stay Healthy Zone, which is a partner of mine that I do stuff with. It's a digital wellness company, and they're going to do digital wellness for NAMI. And NAMI's been around forever. NAMI's been, I think, 48 years. It's probably on there or something.
Yeah, I think it's the largest grassroots mental health organization in the country.
And the thing is I think they want to just make just awareness about it. Just be smart about your health. And if, something comes up, don't be afraid to ask somebody. If you have a problem, ask somebody. If you ask your friend. And a lot of times as men and anybody, we just, we don't do that. And we just get along and try to get along, and it causes
crazy?
problems.
2025, I don't mean crazy in that way, but you get it. In 2025, feels like we know a lot more about the brain. And, we have a lot more empathy, I feel like, for people going through stuff than we used to. It's been a quick evolution, I feel like, for society to kind of come around to it. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. And it's, it's something that's there. It's not going away. And that's why I think NAMI is one of the place you could turn to. And I just talked to, who was it? Oh, just Zach Taylor.
Okay.
Or Zach Thomas, because Zach Thomas, he played with Junior Seau, and to me that whole thing is Zach said to me, he's like I thought he was always great. He's funny, laughing, loves football.
Lights up a room.
Lights up the room when he comes in, and he said I never knew there was a problem, or I would have tried to help him. And that's the thing. Try to help the guys if they have a problem. And that was just an example. It's a bad example because I love Junior. Junior was
we
the
all
best.
do, though. But that's what we're talking
love
about
Junior,
here.
but that's exactly kind of what this is.
Agree. I think a lot of us have a lot of friends that we've loved and we have no idea going through something very serious. At the end of every show, I say, be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life, because we've had friends, I've had friends that anytime I've seen them, positive, everything, and then they end up passing away from their own doing, and it's like, should we have seen the signs, or maybe we should have just asked, But then on the flip side, we hope we get to a point someday where people are feeling that way. They will ask people, and I think that's why the work here is such a big deal. I think that's a big deal. So thank you for doing that, Dan.
No, that's cool.
That baby Dan. Oh, yeah, Dan. That baby Dan. Oh.
There's our guy, Dan Gillison, right there. He's the CEO of NAMI.
Shout out, Dan. Hey, thank you for making the world a better place, Dan. Good suit,
Thank
too.
you, Dan.
I like that pocket square, too. He's got the triple crown.
Yeah, it looks good.
Triple crown there, Dan. Good work, man. Okay, let's talk a little ball, shall we?
Yeah, sure.
Miami Dolphins aren't helping anybody's, morale. At all. We got a guy named Gumpy back there. I assume he thanked you immediately upon walking in. He's from, there he is right there on the screen. I don't know if you see him. He's from British Columbia, Canada. Loves the Dolphins. Has his entire life. This year we thought we were going to go. Gump, didn't we think we were going to go this year?
Yeah, for sure. Thought a playoff win was coming down the chute, but here we are, 25 years since we've had one.
Jeez.
I know, man. I'm sorry. That's all I can tell you.
What do you think, though?
You know what? I thought we had a very good football team this year until we start getting, injuries, especially at the end of the year. And look, Tua is our quarterback. He's going to be our quarterback. But we need to find a way to just keep him healthy, especially, at the end of the year when you have to win games to get into playoffs and to maybe get home field advantage or just win playoff games. And so that's, I think, really where the focus is going to be.
Tua's thing came out of nowhere there.
Yeah,
right at the end, we just saw him come out of nowhere. Is that? How do we? You probably know a lot more than us. Yeah, you guys were in it. Lurking.
Yep.
Then he's no longer playing out of nowhere, and he finishes the season not playing. Actually, had sunglasses on one at the time.
Yeah, hanging.
Right, so
but
cool.
he had like a hip pointer.
Okay, so
and it's just as far as throwing. I mean, he'll be good in the future, but like for those 2-3 weeks, he was struggling with that.
Feels like you're around the team a lot, right?
Enough, yeah. I'm around.
Are you trying to get a little Pittsburgh in him, though, Dan?
Yeah.
Well, great.
They're saying team's soft.
That's what they
saying the
say.
team's soft.
Can't
Dan.
play in the
Soft.
cold.
They're saying they're soft, Dan.
Yeah, the Yinzers. We need more Yinzers.
Amen. Listen, you ain't never lie. You ain't never lie, brother. AJ's got a question for you.
AJ, what's up, man?
What's up? When you look at this Super Bowl and you see Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, obviously, I guess what do both these guys do? Like, what have they done that impresses you? So, like, start with Mahomes. Obviously.
Oh, that's easy. I mean, this is easy because, Mahomes may end up being the best quarterback ever. You never know because he's on a run right now and he's just amazing. I don't know if he'll ever get to 7 Super Bowls, but, if he wins this one, he's already in the Hall of Fame. And what he does as an athlete as far as how he throws the ball from different angles and, you really can't teach that, and he has anticipation, he has everything. But also he's smart because he can run, but he never gets hurt like from running the ball because he knows where he's in on the field, his awareness is there, and he's just a special player. Player. And then Jalen Hurts has been great too. It's just he's a different type of player, right? He's a guy that wants to run it a little bit more than Patrick Mahomes, and he's a above average thrower of the football in the pocket, but when he's dangerous is when he gets out of the pocket. That's when he could make the big play. So that's basically my scouting report on those two quarterbacks.
Can you still spin it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, from here to there.
Dart.
Always.
I mean, I throw it a little bit, but not.
We saw that commercial. You threw the ball into Messi's boat?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
a good throw. That was a rocket.
That was a rocket. That thing went about 150 yards.
Which we still expect.
Thank God for video cameras.
Hey, when people talk to you about like your quickest release and everything like that, your accuracy, and then the yards you threw for, there's always like the
ridiculous.
modern day yards where people are like, this offense now, the new rules are built for this. It'll be like 2021, 20. In like old school football,
84, yeah.
Dan Marino's in there for yardage and everything like that. And obviously, you have to have a team buy-in for you to play that way. But you had to have an ability for people to debunk how football was then at that time. My old man says that you worked that with your dad every day of your life, almost like
It was for
obsession, almost. Right?
Yes, with like the trying to work on your release. And the other thing I did, which I tell all young quarterbacks and even kids, high school kids, college kids, is the jump rope. My dad made me jump rope from the time I was little because it keeps your mind and your feet in the same rhythm in a small area, which a small area is a pocket, And that was, to me, my dad was a Teamster truck driver, and I thought that was genius. That's genius, really.
Absolutely, yeah. Hey, the Teamsters got a lot of good ideas.
Oh, yes, they do.
People, too.
Don't mess with them.
Drivers. Something fall off the back of that truck?
That's awesome, yeah.
There was some things that fall off the back of the truck.
Yeah. That's gonna happen. My dad was a truck driver as well, so he's had some genius ideas through it all. I didn't even think about jump rope. That seems genius. Were we doing this one?
Oh,
too?
I could do that.
You were doing all the shit.
Yeah. But now I can't do anything. My legs are gone. But when I was, playing during my years playing, I did that all the time.
D-Butt, Miami Dolphins diehard fan has a question for
South
you.
Florida kid, both parents from Carroll City, so right behind old
there.
Joe Robbie Stadium. So appreciate everything you did, obviously. What's your thoughts on we had the honors last night, NFL honors, two great deserving quarterbacks with Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. What's your thoughts on MVP this year?
Well, I think both of them could have won just as easily. I mean, Lamar Jackson had a great year, awesome, but they didn't really advance, and maybe it's because Josh got a little closer, I think, and he really takes over games too, just like Lamar does. I just think it was his year because how he was running the football in critical situations, the playoff games where he came from behind, winning those games. I mean, those are the kind of times when you look at a guy and say, okay, he's the MVP.
Gotcha.
So I mean, I would have voted for either one of them.
Yeah.
And they both deserve it.
Do you guys get a vote, ex-MVP? You don't? Do you?
No.
They don't care about you. They only care about this guy.
Yeah. Once you get,
He's just so.
you get a vote?
He got a vote.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Dad,
Hey,
he's
Pete,
got a vote.
I got to call somebody up. This is bullshit.
I agree, Dan. I agree. Speaking about Josh, though, there was a lot of talk after this last loss to the Chiefs, another loss to the Chiefs, another loss to Patrick Mahomes. People said they started feeling bad for Josh Allen. Is he ever going to get the big one? How do you what is your take on that? Since you were an unbelievable all-time great quarterback, what's your take on Josh and getting to the big one?
So I think Josh Allen, if you talk to him, he's extremely disappointed. He'll think about losing that playoff game and having his chance, but also he's he's a tough dude. He's mentally tough. He don't miss games. He's been playing at a high level for 5-6 years now. So I think he feels like he'll get back and get over that hump, But then the truth of the matter is I went in the second year and I never got back. Yeah. But I got close, just like him a lot of times. So he'll deal with it. He'll be fine. He'll come out of that. But he will. But he will think about that all off season. And there's a lot of times you do that. I did it too.
Rest of your life, probably.
Yeah. I mean, some games. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a competitor. That's what high-end athletes have to deal with. You just talked about him being mentally tough and not missing a lot of games. How important is it for the quarterback to be like the toughest dude on your team? Legitimately.
Well,
because you guys
it's got to be legit tough, but also mentally tough. And then being able to deal with all the other players and making them tough with you and making the players around you better. And he does that. And Mahomes definitely does that.
But you quarterbacks are kind of,
the guys.
Like your whole life. Your whole life, you guys are crazy, like legit, even more so now than ever before. Because the amount of money.
When I was young, my dad was a truck driver. I was held up like
No, but I'm saying like the quarterbacks though nowadays.
Yeah.
These kids in high school are getting paid to go transfer to academies.
Yeah.
And then in college they're being paid. It's like our team goes as you go, and these kids are like teenagers getting treated like that. The ability to remain tough and humble quarterback is going to be difficult, but I think it's a necessity for the position.
There's no doubt. Yeah, being humble and being tough, and also with all the money they're going to get given, pretty much, while they're going through college. It can make them, like you said, Pittsburgh can make them soft a little bit.
Agreed.
So you got to have that guy that's mentally tough. That's going to be able. It doesn't matter what the money is or what it, all that. That I want to play. I want to be the best person I can be for this football team.
It's hard to find those. I think
you can't. I mean,
that's like the most
hard.
important thing I think nowadays when you're finding a guy like, hey, do you love ball or not?
Yeah.
Like I think that's is
important.
a big deal.
Yeah.
Because these kids are being set up to be soft. Not their fault.
Yeah.
Not their fault. Never want to blame them for it.
I know, but
Would you get $1 million when you were 15 or 16?
I probably could have. Yeah, I would have taken it.
We all would have. But could you imagine what you would have became? I mean,
I know.
Could have been a monster. I mean, it's unbelievable. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Dan, yesterday also the Hall of Fame class was announced, and obviously you're a Hall of Famer, and there's a lot of discourse. Only 4 guys went in. No Adam Vinatieri, who we all thought obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer. Yeah, sounds like you do too, even though he's a kicker, and that's kind of the knock on him, even though, he's won damn near more than anybody. Also, no Eli Manning. What do you think about kind of the state of the Hall of Fame right now, and what is kind of the standard you would say is to get into the Hall of Fame? Because it's kind of blurred almost at this point because, Vinny and Eli, they both have the moments, they have the rings, but still they're not, getting in on their first ballot try.
Yeah, I mean, that's the difficult thing because, like Chris Carter, I thought Chris Carter would go in on the first ballot. It took him 6 years. So I'm not in on the voting and how they vote and what the decisions are made. But I know that we've been having a lot of I don't know this for a fact, but I know we've been having a lot of classes with 7 people in them, right, for about the last 10 years. And then we had one, there was, 20 people because they were making up from
Get
past
back.
time.
Yeah.
Right. And so maybe they're just kind of, water it down a little bit and let's not have as many guys. But whoever is making that decision is probably on the committee.
Sure.
See, but now there's 4 this year.
Right.
So that means there's going to be a backup
Yeah.
next year. And next year's
Classes.
Fitz.
Yeah, like they're talking about Eli.
Breeze.
It's like, is Eli going to get in next year? Who knows because of Drew Brees, yeah.
And let alone Yonda.
Yeah.
That's tough.
That's
Frank
what makes
Gore's
it
next
tough.
year.
Yeah.
Larry
Frank Gore,
Fitz.
too.
Do you guys do like Hall of
Breeze.
Fame dinners and texts?
No, I mean, no, dinners? Yeah, when we go to the Hall of Fame, we'll have dinner. Yeah, but what do you mean text? Text.
I don't know if you guys just group
I
text.
talked to
Text,
Ronnie
right?
Lott 2 days ago, so yeah, we text each
Little
other.
gold
Yeah,
jacket text.
Yeah, that's
no big deal.
That's a big Hall of Famer right there.
Yeah, well, you
Ronnie
are as
Lott.
well.
Yeah.
Dan, you are as well. Obviously, you broke down both quarterbacks. What's the story from this game that maybe, because we've talked about this now,
Okay.
this thing, Dan. So is there anything that you think hasn't been talked about or that you're thinking about whenever you're trying to
So
figure
did
out
you
who-
talk about how you keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline, you run the football?
Yes. Yeah.
You've already talked about that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Give me some other examples.
Sirianni,
Stop
Andy
it,
Reid.
Saquon.
What about that, though? That part is huge. Yeah, because
Yes.
that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to run the football and keep Patrick on the sidelines. I mean,
Yes.
That's what I would do if I was the head coach. And
Third down, red
third-
zone.
Yeah. Third down, red zone. Third down is important. Always, no matter what game it is.
Yep.
Third down. Yeah, and scoring in the red zone. In Philadelphia, instead of getting field goals, they get touchdowns, putting a little more pressure on, Patrick. But
Yeah.
How do you feel
what
about the
other
field
angle?
goals?
What other angle?
Special teams, maybe, Dan. Might come down to special teams.
Yeah.
Jake Elliott's missed a couple kicks. He's obviously Philadelphia Eagles. He's been great in the past. Bucker seemingly never misses
Yep.
in big games.
They go for it a ton. The Eagles on fourth down.
Always
so
go for
field
it.
position.
Sure.
Yeah, those are
It's
an
all.
angle.
Yep.
And then
Taylor Swift's gonna be there.
Taylor
Yeah.
Swift. That's an angle right there.
That is an angle.
And how many times? So here's an angle. How many times are we going to see her on TV during the thing?
What do you think? Over under 4.5?
4.5 times on TV?
Yeah, I think.
I say more like 300.
Over. Travis is about to have a big game.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like you're saying there. Get Travis the Rock, get him in the paint.
Yeah, what about that? Like Travis Kelce, obviously people throughout the season talk about his stats, and then in the playoffs he has his best game. Are there certain players that are just like that where when the lights come on, they just play their best?
There are, and he's one of them. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame for sure. Eventually, he may. With the way it's going, he might not be a first ballot. But he's those kind. I know he's the kind of player that steps up, and he might have been injured a little bit or whatever, but big game steps up all the time, and that's what you got to love that to be in this situation.
Yeah.
He's a hooper out there. It's kind of the conversation that we had with Fred Warner, who was talking about playing against Travis, because they talk about these Travis routes where who knows what's on the actual call sheet for Travis.
So
But him and
adjust,
Pat,
yeah.
they just have like did you have anybody like that?
Yeah, there was. Well, I mean, I felt like Clayton and Duper would do that a little bit if they felt, because I try to read coverages with them, and they would read the coverages.
You
with
all
me.
have to see the same picture.
See the same thing.
Mark
We'd
Brothers.
always talk about it. And then so we had that kind of relationship. And then Keith Jackson was another one that was like that. The tight end from.
How come everybody doesn't do that? What is that? You gotta be
I
really
think
smart.
they do it. It's just a matter of the players and your, I guess, not only awareness in space of a secondary, but also instincts. So you got to certain guys have that and certain guys don't. I mean, it's just that certain guys you tell them to run down here and make a right, and they just run right down there and make a right. Sometimes you shouldn't. Sometimes you go down there and turn around.
Sit in.
Find a little window.
Sit down,
got
turn
it.
it up. Yeah.
Go ahead, D.
No, Mark Clayton was one of those guys you talk about how it's always somebody that pops up on that list from Marino's era. He was one of those guys we talk about. Saquon, his touchdowns, average distance of his touchdowns over 30 yards. I think Mark Clayton may have been like third on that list.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big time. Oh, yeah, big time player.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. I love Mark, and he's another one I thought should be to get in the Hall of Fame. Because the numbers are different, huh?
No, you had a couple guys from your era, Eric Allen and Sterling Sharp
Yes.
go in this year. What's your thoughts on those guys finally getting in?
It's great. I mean, it's the biggest, besides your kids or whatever. I mean, that's the biggest day of your life and for your family's life is to get into the Hall of Fame, because there's only so many guys that get in, and that's it. That's forever and ever. So that's, my thoughts are I'm so happy for them, and they're going to enjoy it and enjoy that day.
There's levels to this shit too.
Yes.
The Hall of Famers, like there's guys that make it in the NFL.
Uh-huh.
Then there's like the All Pros. Then there's the MVPs. Then there's the Hall of Famers. That's forever. We appreciate all the Hall of Famers for everything they've done for this league. Who are you picking to win?
Kansas City.
Wow.
That was very quick.
Yeah.
Did you waffle at all? Have you waffled at all since it? Or
Well, I thought I want Philly to win, just because I don't want to see Kansas City win.
And a lot of
in row.
Italians over there.
Yeah,
Sure.
a lot of Italians. Pennsylvania. I'm Pennsylvania. So, yes, Philly. I want Philly to win, but I think Kansas City's going to win.
just because they do.
That's exactly. And Patrick Mahomes, number 15, he's pretty good.
The guy.
Yes.
Good player.
Will they ever be able to win in Miami? Legit. Two main distractions in Miami?
Yeah, no, it's not the distractions. It's just, we'll get there. We'll get there.
What about the narrative of that they can't win in the cold? As a guy who grew up in Pittsburgh and lived in Pittsburgh, how much of that actually plays in when it's like, you've been in Miami for a long time? Because, they have to play in New England late in the season and, in New York. Like, is that a thing, or is that mostly, just a media-driven narrative?
I think it is a narrative that's there because you got to change the narrative if you want someone to stop talking about it, and we haven't done that really. I mean, even when I played, we'd always try to get home field advantage, and so you don't have to go to Buffalo, or you don't have to go, to Pittsburgh or Kansas City when it's, below zero, because we're not used to playing in that stuff, But so that's the narrative, is that we got to win more games and get home field advantage.
Yeah, you feel like you're soft now because you're my time in Miami?
I got really soft, especially at when I retired.
Yeah.
I'm soft now.
How's the golf game?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's okay.
Like where at?
I'm like an 8 handicap.
Damn.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're rolling some putts, it sounds like.
I make some putts.
Where do you live now? Full time down Florida?
Fort Lauderdale. Yeah.
Fort Lauderdale?
Fort
Lottie.
Yeah, man.
Hockey
That's
state.
good. Yeah,
We're in Hockey Town.
And I live not far from that arena. It's fun to go watch those games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Panthers.
You grew up a Pens fan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mario Lemieux, well, obviously, he's a peer, but then Pierre LaRouche, remember that name?
Yes, I remember Pierre.
That's my
Lewis.
guy. He was old.
Mario
thing.
Lemieux is a peer.
Yes,
You're
yes.
damn right.
He's
That's awesome. That is
You know it,
sweet.
man.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, I did know what you meant.
yeah.
Yeah.
No
Dan
flubs.
Marino.
Yeah, but
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Hall of Famer, MVP, Yinzer legend, Dolphin hero, Dan Marino.
I like that Yinzer legend.
Yeah, you are.
That's it, man.
You are. Always will be, too.
Thanks, brother.
Hey,
Thanks.
you.
It's great being on. Thank you, guys.
Dan.
Thank you, man,
guys. Thank
Dan.
you, guys.
Hey, Dano. Dude, thank you, man. Appreciate you, man.
Oh, it's okay.
Oh, shit.
Thanks.
Watch your
Awesome.
legs.
Thank you very much.